Hey, hello everyone. Let's talk about modules in JavaScript, export and import. Usually, when we create an application, we will divide that application code into separate modules. Those modules contain variables, functions, and classes. So, if you want to reuse the code which is available in one module to another module, in JavaScript, we need this export and import statements. Basically, these are keywords in JavaScript used to export or import one or more members of the module. In short, export is used to give code to another module and import is used to read code from another module, right? In export itself, we have like two types of export. One is named export and another one is default export. And one important thing to remember is you have to indicate JS that we are creating the file as a module as we want to reuse it later for code maintainability and reusability. You have to indicate that it is a module. Type is equal to module in package.json, or if you are doing the front end, you have to put it in a script tag. Type is equal to module. And only it will identify the JS file as a module. Right? In this video, I'm gonna show you how to use export. I'm gonna create some variable functions with export keyword placed, and I'm gonna import it in another module. I'll show you how to do that. Right? Let's start. So I'm gonna create some variables. Let phone name. I'm creating a variable. Phone name is equal to Apple 13, and I'm creating a function. Let's say a function is send message is a function, right? I'm making it as simple, so I'm just printing it. Sending a message, right? And then I'm gonna create a class. Class my phone. I'm gonna create a constructor. Constructors take two arguments, name and spec. Okay, all are class variables, so marking it with this spec. Fine. To use these variables, I'm gonna create a function. Yeah, phone spec is my function inside the class. What it will do? Let me print this dot name plus to show it in the output. Let me just separate it, and yeah, this dot spec. Okay. Now in this file export import.js, I have created a variable, I created a function, and I created a class. Okay. Now if I want to use these in another module, I have to use export keyword. Okay. So I'm putting export keyword here. This is one way of using export. The other way is we can put it like module.exports, and we can put our whichever we want to export, phone name, send message, like that. Okay. And these are all the named exports. Like I said before, in export there are two types of exports are there. One is named export and another one is default export. Named export means before the variable declaration you will use the export keyword. Okay. Another one is default export. So in that case you have to put the export default keyword. Okay. This can be used only once in a file, and also whenever we use export default, there is no need to put semicolon. Okay. Now we have used export keyword in this module perfectly. Now I'm going to open another file and I'm going to import all these things. Okay. For that I'm using this first test.js. There is some code. Let me comment that. Now I have to import all of those. Okay. So I'm going to use the keyword import, and then I have to use curly braces for named imports. Okay. So what are all the phone name and send message? Okay. phone name and send message. So whenever type itself, it is giving me that, right? This is for named export, right? Another one is it's a default export, right? So in that case, I don't need to provide the curly braces. Instead, I can say like this, okay? It came actually. Fine. Now I have to use it, right? And this is not used yet. So how should I use it? Let's say if I want to print the console name, I can use it directly, okay, without any intervention. Console.log phone name, okay, and send message. I already printed, so send message. This is enough to call this function. And my phone is a class, right? So we need to create an object. My phone. It takes two arguments, right? One is phone name and another one is phone spec. Let's say 128 GB RAM. Okay, and then m1 dot my phone. Think I used a console.log there. Yeah, it's there. So it will print. This is enough. Okay. Now you could see what we did is we used a import statement in order to import the class function and variable from the another module. Okay. Now let me run and show you. We did not write any code here. The code is in another file. We are just reusing it here. Right. Okay, it thrown an error. I did not set type module in the package.json, or we can use the .mjs extension, which means it's a module JavaScript extension. Yeah, let me use that mjs extension. That's new. So what I can do is this file names I can rename it to instead of JS. I can rename it to .mjs. So it's updating in the declaration itself also. Sorry, in the import statement also. And this first it all these whichever the we are sharing the files between, I mean we are sharing the variables functions and classes between two modules, right? Both modules, I mean both JS files should be in this naming convention like dot mjs. Okay, if you see my two files export import, also it's named with dot mjs, and wherever I'm using this import statement, that is also I mean extended with the dot mjs. Okay, now if I run it, you can see the output m1 dot my phone. I made some mistake. M1 dot, okay, I should provide a function name. Fine, let me run it again. Okay, so phone name phone 13 and send message function, it gives sending a message, and this one is a class which takes two arguments. So apple 128 GB RAM, that is printed. Hope you understood import by now. So let's recap. Import and export both are used to basically give code and read code from another modules. So why we are using these modules is when we create a big application, we will divide that into separate modules for code readability, I mean reusability and maintainability. So there are some rules. ES6 rules are there to use import and export. Yeah, there are types, similar types in export like named export, default export is there. So that's what we did. We created some variable function and we commit with the export keyword, and this is how a default export will work. Then we used the import keyword to import how we can import a named export, and this is a default export, right?